kind of do a recap. So thank you so much. And Miss Piper, I see you there. Let's pin you. Welcome. So Piper's amazing. Like I said, I saw her speak just a few weeks ago at California Association of Realtors, and the room was just packed. Some of her associates spoke at Women Council of Realtors, and it was the biggest event they did for their whole seminars. It's just, really, really taking off. And Piper is the CEO of the Crypto Real Estate Group, who has been the only agent in Los Angeles to sell 5 deals through Bitcoin, which is awesome. Specializes in transactions with crypto. She's the chair of the LA chapter of the International Blockchain Real Estate Association. So I want to know more about that. I want to join. I want to find out. And I'm sure a lot of people here too are interested as well. So Piper, thank you for joining us. Take it over. You should be able to share your screen if you need to. And we're so happy to have you here.
Welcome. Oh my God. Thank you again. Can you hear me okay? Hopefully. Yeah. Okay, great. Again, I so apologize for being late, and thank you for covering for me because my calendar was absolutely messed up from my vacation. But thank you for having me here. I take it. Obviously you covered NFTs because I came in the middle of that. I do have like a small presentation that I did give for the California Association of Realtors, but it's been updated just a little bit since then. So I'm just going to share that. Give me 2 seconds here. And if this is information that has already been covered, then by all means, just let me know. Here we go. Okay. So here's it's just an overview of really the crypto market and then what's going on in real estate. Anthony already was nice enough to introduce me. So the biggest question I get really is why even bother? And again, I think you guys covered this probably, but yeah, it's a whole new era of investors. There's a brand new generation out there that's got a ton of wealth. Even if they put money into it a year and a half ago, they've got a lot of dividends that need to be spent. So there's trillions of dollars out there that new investors and old investors alike are wanting to put into more stable assets like real estate. And I get calls on a weekly basis from buyers, sellers, agents from all over the world wanting to know how they can do this. So the audience is absolutely there. There's a loophole. The way we've done crypto conversions in the past, there's a loophole of not really having to season the funds before transferring through traditional banking as you would. So we can actually use a payment processor process from Bitcoin to cash in a matter of minutes. And then have it wire transferred to escrow in the same day if you get the wire cutoff time. And by and large, because of this, the transaction times are quick and direct. And these types of investors really don't like the banking system, and they've been holding crypto for a very long time. And, like I said, they've got a lot to spend. And again, they're looking for real estate. So, this is a, whether you're into it or not, it's still happening.
So and I think the people on this call too, we did a survey at the beginning, Piper, and over 75% of the people on the call own crypto currently.
Oh, fantastic. So,
yeah. Okay, and most of them were over $1,000 invested. We had some, a lot that were like 10 to 100,000. So people are invested around this call.
Yeah, and you got this. If I were to give this talk like maybe 2 or 3 years ago, that wasn't the case at all. So I'm so happy to see that the majority of real estate professionals actually have skin in the game. So that's amazing. So yeah, if you're watching the market, I actually had to update this since my last CAR talk. It's up to $3 trillion as of November 2021. And that's not bad for just 12 years in existence. That's insane. And so BTC, Bitcoin alone, is doing around 8 billion, almost 9 billion with over $30 billion in volume trading. And now I've got a couple of escrow companies here in Southern California Guarantee Escrow, they just completed their 12th transaction. I'm not really sure how much that was, but they've got over $12 million in volume that they've done so far. Pango Group is another one that's doing these Bitcoin transactions. They've done around 8 million in volume and one crypto refi. So yeah, I mean, we're going pretty strong with this stuff. And so, yeah, again, major part of the run up, and I'm sure everybody can agree with the Bitcoin run up this last year, was a lot of the major financial institutions got on board with it. I mean, Goldman Sachs, USAA, Amex, now you can pay with crypto with Venmo and PayPal. There's so many more that have hopped on. And then there's just a sliver of companies who accept crypto payments. I actually bought some earrings back in the day and overstock. They're probably worth about, $8,000-9,000 now. So, I mean, everybody's starting to take these. So I want to talk about my first transaction really quick. This is before I had any escrow company on board. We did the first crypto transaction in Southern California, the second one in California, period. I think there was another one that was done up in Tahoe in 2015, and nobody was returning my call. And so we had to put the puzzle pieces together. And I didn't know if this guy was for real, but he was dead serious, and he was looking for about a $3 million house here in Manhattan Beach. The first call I made was to my lender. Oh my God, what do I do? This guy was to pay in Bitcoin. Do we even have anything set up for this kind of thing? And he said, no, just have him transfer the funds out and have him seasoned for a little bit. Well, that wasn't an option. Because we'd already found a house and we were ready to put an offer in. So we needed this to be done like right away. So we finally settled, we got the offer accepted, but the escrow company did not want to touch the funds whatsoever. So we agreed that they would do everything else, and then we would have to figure out how to get this Bitcoin transferred to fiat at the end of the day. So and to make matters worse, the seller's agent thought that we were just trying to scam everyone. He was very old school, had kind of heard of Bitcoin, but he thought only criminals used it, and that obviously was not the case. So we literally had a roundtable discussion with the CCO from BitPay. We found BitPay, we got them on the phone. They're our payment processor that we still use to date. Now, it's still a little bit clunky, and they're not really the only game in town anymore. So we are looking for other options, and I'll maybe get into that here in just a little bit, but this was our option at the time. So Sunny Singh was coming through town, and we literally had a roundtable discussion with him, the buyer's agents, the buyer, the seller, seller's agent, the escrow company. Okay, how are we going to transfer these funds over? And so the seller was kind of young and hip enough to go, oh, okay, I'll open up a BitPay account and you can just transfer it straight to me. Great. Well, everything's going great. We got the EMD transferred. Within the first 3 days. Okay, everybody kind of breathed a sigh of relief because we knew that the guy now was serious. And so everything's going right along. We got all the contingencies met. And about a week before we're supposed to close, the escrow's attorneys kicked us out of escrow because they got word that we were using Bitcoin. And they thought, oh, again, just criminals use that. We don't want to have anything to do with that. So they kicked us out. And we're scrambling around trying to find another escrow that's going to close us. And we did, thank goodness. But during this process, this whole time, Bitcoin spiked. So when we went into escrow, it was about $750. And I thought, oh my God, that's so much. I'm never going to get in the game. I've lost out, But it spiked up to $1,200, I believe. And my buyer was paying cash, so he said, you know what, I'm going to go down to Orange County and I'm going to buy a Lamborghini because he just made all this money overnight. And he bought it with Bitcoin. And I said, okay, great. Send me the bill of sale, everybody that you talk to, let's get them on the phone. And the Lamborghini actually helped us get this $3 million house because we could prove then that we could buy big ticketed items with this, crazy internet nerd money that, was being tossed around. So we ended up closing on time, and, that was my very, very first one. And so since we figured that out, we went on to do a few more. And, I've done 5 to date, and, crossover, the pandemic and, the crypto winter, so to speak. I mean, I've got like, it has just exploded this year with buyers and sellers alike, wanting to get into the crypto game and real estate. And now we've got these NFTs, so it's going to be a very, very busy 2022.
Hey, Piper.
Yeah.
Just one thing that is kind of comical. Your buyer got the house, but he lost $147 million.
Pretty much. Yeah, he doesn't want to think about that part. So yeah, I could hear you doing the math. Yeah, it's really like that's what it's worth now. I mean, he spent $3 million, but fast forward to today, it's a lot. It's a lot that he spent. So anyway, so here's kind of, I'm not going to tell you exactly how to, the escrow process, how it's done, but a 30,000 foot view, sometimes the funds can be exchanged outside of escrow. And if it's a full BTC to cash transaction, it's treated exactly like a cash transaction. A lot of questions I get are, oh, what about title? What about taxes? All that. It's a cash transaction at the end of the day. The proof of funds can sometimes be tricky, but it's getting a little bit better now because you can actually prove that you own this wallet. You are this is your hard drive, whatever. It's getting a little bit easier. But back in the day, my buyer literally took a selfie in front of his computer, and somehow they accepted that. I don't know why, but they did. But now, like I said, I've got these escrow companies here that will do crypto transactions, and one of them actually works as a sub escrow to anybody in the United States. And so they can actually move the money instead of having to get some kind of other title company on board. So it just makes the process so much easier. So yeah, and title.
What is the name of
yeah.
the escrow company?
Oh, it's called Guarantee Escrow. How do I find my chat? Oh, there it is. I'll type it in the chat here. It's guaranteeescrow.com. And then talk to Wendy. She's amazing. So Wendy Bond, she's the CEO and president of Guarantee Escrow.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. So real quick, title, crypto to cash, like I said, title is rarely the issue. Wallet to wallet, there have been wallet to wallet transactions done. Those can get a little bit tricky because, we're running up against, regulations and good funds laws and all that. So the settlement still has to be in fiat. I do have a title company here that will underwrite with a few stipulations if you have a wallet to wallet. But, again, it's like, we still don't have all the answers, but I at least have a team that's willing to have this conversation. Whereas, 5 years ago, that was not the case. So other options, we can definitely do third party, but you got to be really careful with AML, KYC. And for those of you who don't know, AML is anti-money laundering, and then KYC is know your customer. These protocols have got to be in place. And that's why we like a payment processor like BitPay, is because they do all of that for you. They vet your party. They can talk to the wallet. They can verify the funds and communicate from beginning to end. But other third parties can be used like a crypto bank, such as Cumberland. Your buyer's got to show a fairly high net worth, and jump through some hoops to get with them. They're actually the bank that backs Coinbase. Really big thing right now is collateralized loans. You can lend against your crypto and not have to cash out, and it's not a taxable event. Helio Lending is a great aggregator. I would actually go to them first, and they can talk to you and your client, see where they're at, see what they want their terms to be, and then kind of steer you from there to what lender might be appropriate. And you got Aave, Celsius. I love Celsius. BlockFi. Nexo has like a line of credit, I believe, up to $2 million. So there's ways to kind of play around with that.
So
And then you've got to,
sorry, Piper.
No.
Actually, there's a platform called Abra, ABRA.
Oh, Abra. Okay, great.
My friend is the CEO. It's a great product. They just launched a rewards token, but they let you leverage 10% of your Bitcoin or crypto holdings, and they actually pay you 5% if you're. They pay you to use your own money, so you could use that money to buy a house and getting paid 5% to actually leverage your own Bitcoin or your own crypto.
Awesome. I will check that out. I love it. Thank you. I'm actually I'll add that to the slide deck.
Why do they do that? Why would they loan against your crypto?
Because they're making more money than think of a bank. So average returns in crypto are 20 to 60% at market shifts considering, right? You can go onto a platform called Stacked and get 1,700% a year returns. So there's a lot more money to be made in non-traditional markets, crypto markets, than there is doing derivatives and borrowing and playing with the average fiat consumer's money. That's how much they want the coins to play with.
Yeah. And then of course we've got wallet to wallet. But the problem with that is, attorneys should probably be involved because they've got to do the KYC, they've got to pull the title reports, all that. I do have a buddy who was involved in a wallet to wallet in Florida. And there's a lot of moving parts still, but it can be done. So yeah, I get asked tax implications. IRS categorizes Bitcoin as a property, but we still got to pay capital gains when you cash out, and wallet to wallet capital gains also apply. I always say, talk to your CPA. I'm not here to give you financial advice whatsoever, but you can defer taxes in some way, but just, the savvy investors know how to do this. And again, collateralized loan options are not taxable events. So here's some, and Jolie, please chime in because you've got your finger on the pulse here as well. These are a lot of my favorite tokenization platforms. I also get a lot of calls for tokenization. There's an agent or a seller who doesn't really know about tokenization, and they think, oh well, I've got this hard property to sell. Maybe I'll just tokenize it. Well, it's a lot harder than what you might think it is because you're selling shares. The SEC is involved. There's a filing that has to happen. But there are companies that actually do this, and they've done it successfully. These are some of them: Realty, Vertalo, Rove, Rieno. Another one that I don't have on here. No, Rove is actually on here. Sorry about that. Rove is one of my favorite ones because they've opened it up to everybody. Their filing with the SEC is such that any investor can invest. You can invest $5-10 if you wanted to. It's not just for accredited investors. And then we've got NFTs, which we were talking about. Successful NFTs are very new, but they've been done. There's prop tech platforms, escrow and title. I believe somebody posted Ubiquity. It looked like the white paper before. I'm actually an advisor with them. I love them. And Shirley, I believe you've got something to do with them as well, right? You're Nathan.
Yes.
Yeah.
We're working on escrow solutions.
Yes. Yeah. I think we're going to be working together soon because we've been talking a lot about this. But they've got this really great platform that they're going to be introducing hopefully in the next few months that is an escrow solution. The idea is to have buyers pay in crypto and then they can settle out in a stable coin or maybe even fiat, hopefully. So, we're constantly working on this. This is to me, this is like the missing puzzle piece. We need to have this in place. And Ubiquity is the only company that I know of that's really working on this. Would you agree, Shirley, or what do you think?
Sorry, repeat.
Well, I mean, Ubiquity is really the only company that I know that's working on this type of solution.
Oh, there's tens, if not 20 or 30. Most of the so if you step back and think about this, it's fractionalization specifically is basically crowdfunding, right? And the Equity Crowdfunding Act, the Laws Act Title III that passed, 5 years ago, still requires reporting. So this is still a gray area. I wouldn't say that SEC allows for fractionalization to unaccredited investors. Unaccredited investor protections still exist. They just haven't been codified yet. So we're in this gray area, and I think that's a really big point. Is this opportunity is for the next, I want to say 9 months is my guess for how long it'll take for the government to come around and start regulating in one way or another. Most likely from a tax perspective first. It's a big hurdle to overtake, but there is a ton of money, both NFTs and crypto, that are preparing for the worst and are looking to place their money. And these aren't, you can't say that they're legal, but they're not illegal, if that makes sense. So that's up to the appetite of your buyer or your seller. And as you mentioned before, your taxes are owed when any liquidity event, taxable event occurs. But these kinds of transactions allow the buyer and seller to make their own decisions about what they do with that, functionally.
Yeah, I was trying to get I have a cheat sheet of all the filings with the SEC, and because I don't have a retention for which filings what, but let me see. So yeah, so Roe, for instance, has, I believe it's a Reg D, and that allows for no more than 35 not accredited investors. So yeah, I mean, it's as long as they're like, they're filing, but it's, again, it's like, it's expensive, it's time consuming, and it's so when agents and sellers contact me and they say, oh, when it tokenized, I'm like, okay, talk to one of these companies, because 70% of their job is dealing with regulations. So it's a little, but but then the NFTs came along. Those aren't regulated, but like Julie said, they're probably going to find a way to come along and do something with those as well.
It's the same thing as a crypto. It's still a token.
Yeah. I agree. So here are some of the major changes that will be coming. The smart contracts that are programmable rules. These are the Ethereum blockchain kind of revolutionized all this, but they're programmable rules of the transaction, an automated workflow. I'm looking forward to a day where we can have all of our disclosures as smart contracts. It's a huge undertaking. It's very expensive. I don't know when that's going to happen, but if and when it does, faster escrow timeframes, they're going to be cut in half or even shorter. It's all going to be public and decentralized. Title information can be verified immediately. We're already doing this with QR codes that are going right on the deed, and you can reference the deed right on the blockchain. Tokenization and NFTs, of course, they provide way more liquidity and democratize investments. And then we've got payment gateways that are already here, but we're refining them. We want to be able to settle out, like I said, be able to pay for a house or any kind of property in crypto, and then to be settle out in a stable coin or fiat or something. But people are working on this right now. Oh, and then you already covered NFTs, so I won't go into this. I don't want to be redundant. Did you guys talk about DeFi at all?
No.
Okay. And Shelley, please step in if you, again, this is a 30,000-foot view, but DeFi is really huge, and it kind of goes hand in hand with NFTs. Again, it's a whole, blockchain thing. It's taking the power away from the banks and putting it back on us. We are our own banks now. It removes all the middlemen from transactions. We're in more control. There's loans, insurance, crowdfunding, derivatives, etc., that can be done through DeFi. And again, it's using smart contracts, and any rule can be written whatsoever. I can't keep up. There are so many platforms out there. I mean, Aave, for instance, that's a really good platform. These collateralized loans, they kind of fall under the DeFi umbrella. You can do yield farming. There's all again, it's risky. Some of it is risky, But again, it's like it's a new way of doing business and banking, so to speak.
It's literally just banking with crypto.
Yeah.
All the products that exist in the traditional banking world are being developed in the blockchain world. There's no difference except for the only difference is that a bank can't issue currency. It can't issue additional currency. Crypto companies, and that's why you asked earlier, why could you get a 5% return on your money? It's because they have access to billions of dollars of crypto that they reward you with for parking or staking, essentially parking your capital on their platforms.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
And here we go. So here's DeFi again. They're decentralized exchanges or DEXs, and it's basically peer-to-peer trading. We've got stable coins, lending platforms, wrapped BTC or WBTC. This might be a little bit out there, I'm not sure. And then there's prediction markets, markets for betting on outcomes without intermediaries. And then, like I said, with it comes yield farming, liquidity mining, composability, and money Legos. This is the fun stuff. This is the it's apps that can be snapped together like real life Legos to build new financial products. So it will blow your mind, the stuff that's out there that these platforms are doing. And I always get the question of disintermediation. I would not worry about that right now. We've got so many other things to worry about. Blockchain, I don't think is one of them at the moment at all. There is a global MLS in the works. A buddy of mine in Florida. It's a huge undertaking. But he's starting in Florida and he's going to be branching out. I think it's blockchain's answer to Zillow. We're going to have more control with NFTs, potentially more income with all that. And lenders have got to get on board. I have a few here, thank goodness, that are very crypto friendly and that will think outside the box. And I was saying this 2 to 4 years ago. We are 2 to 4 years from any real change. I mean, granted, real estate is very low-hanging fruit as far as blockchain and crypto are concerned, but it's also very, very slow to adopt. And we're constantly refining it. We're constantly having to educate, the regulators on the municipality level, on up to state, on up to the feds. So we've got a long, long way to go, honestly. And that's pretty much it. Here are a lot of really great resources. This is how you can find me on social. But I know I kind of blew through it, but please feel free to check out these resources. There's so much information out there on this subject. And if you happen to be an agent who has a buyer or a seller right now and they don't know what to do, please feel free to reach out to me and I can help you with my resources as well.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Piper.
Okay.
So I guess if anyone has any questions, we have a little bit of time to answer a few questions, but a couple questions that I had in there that I saw come up in the chat were, how can people learn more? How can they learn the basics? And I know that you have classes kind of already out there to help people with a lot of the basics. So do you want to tell us for a minute about that?
Yes, I will actually type it here. I am working on a really in-depth course, but cryptoandrealestate.com. Did I spell that right? Yes, cryptoandrealestate.com. That is kind of a crash course of everything you need to know about getting a transaction done. I give courses, I'm with EXP, and every 2 weeks I give a course just for the EXP agents. And that usually lasts about an hour to an hour and a half. There's tons of questions that pop up, but this is basically that same course.
Awesome. And then just everyone who's watching as well, if you want to re-watch this, and I know that we went through the advanced stuff first and then got into more beginner stuff. If you want to go back and watch it, it'll be on our YouTube page tomorrow. So if you just search The Collective Realty on YouTube, find it, rewatch it. We'll have it posted up there for you guys to check out as well. And then tell us about your association. So
Oh,
how many
Ibrea,
members? What is
yes.
it? What do you do? Like,
Well, there was a little pandemic that happened, so we haven't really been doing that much in the last year or two. But IBREA is the International Blockchain Real Estate Association. I believe it's ibrea.info. There's some older information on there, but we do have a meetup. So find us on Meetup. There's about 230-ish members. We were having these great monthly meetings there for a little bit, and we would have these amazing speakers, platforms, anything that has to do with crypto and real estate, blockchain and real estate. We would have these great speakers and just do like a little networking mixer and stuff like that. But again, we had this pandemic and we haven't been doing that, but we hope to hopefully start up again in 2022 sometime. But yeah, find us online and just join, and then just watch out for updates. So I'd love to have you.
awesome. And yeah, like I said, Piper, I'll be the Greater LA Realtor Association president next year. We have 12,000 members,
Yay!
and I would love to get you speaking in front of some large groups with them too. The more we can educate the community, the better it's going to be for all of us.
Yes, I would love to. And I won't be late next time, I promise.
Is there anyone else that has any other questions? If we didn't answer it that was in the chat and we missed it, feel free to ask it again or raise your hand. We went through so much stuff so fast.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I'm going to type International Blockchain Real Estate Association. Okay.
And I threw into the chat.
There we go.
It's all a lot, and you need a drink, and you need some food, and some comedy and drag. Come tonight, 6 o'clock, Hamburger Mary's.
Wait, there's Hamburger Mary's.
Helping to raise money for homeless teens. So we would love to have all of you come and join us.
Oh my God, I'll go next time for sure. I have to go to a holiday party.
And I threw this into the chat, but there are. I'm on the board of a thing called Blockchain Education Network, where you're educating children and minorities in blockchain, NFT, and crypto to create pipelines to higher education. But you can go to Blockchain Education Network. The token's called BEN, and you can explore and take courses and learn all you want. It's a nonprofit, and that should give you the basics of blockchain and crypto, separate from real estate. That'll give you a foundation that should help you then apply it to real estate or any other area you're interested in.
Awesome. I'm writing down so much stuff today.
Yeah, me too.
And then Shali or Piper, just kind of on the fun side, 75% of the people here have invested in crypto already. Any tips or recommendations or any coins to look out for to invest in the next year, or some of your favorites? I mean, I know it's hard to say, but this is not financial